Hold on. Okay. Yep, it's working.
We're back. Hey everybody, it's Kari Platypus Anthony, 1/3 of the Boob Tube hostess crew, and of course, it's not Boob Tube without Casey Carter and Desirable Bottom. Welcome back, everybody. I know Jason is super ecstatic.
Let me get Jason's comment up there. Jason!
What's
Happy
up,
New Year,
everyone?
Jason!
Hope all of you ladies are having a wonderful night. I'm kind of having a bad night. I lost my wallet with my food stamp card and it got loaded today. Now I have to reorder another one.
Sorry about that, Jason. That's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
But we're glad you're here with us.
We are, and we are glad. We are super happy to be back on YouTube. We are unaware of what happened.
Yeah.
So we don't have a story to tell. We just know that one day we went live and
then
we were gone.
Yep.
So you can check those episodes. I think we did a couple and they ended up on Twitter. So you could go check out our X, whatever it's called these days. But yeah, we're back here on YouTube. We're super duper excited to be back and we're going to be on our best behavior.
Even though we don't know what we did.
Yeah.
Right?
This is one of those moments where we're like, we can't even tell you we're sorry because we don't know what we did that got us punished in the first place.
And it's so crazy because literally we were on 5-10 minutes. We weren't even talking about anything in particular.
Yeah, it was bizarre, but Happy New Year!
Happy
Oh my gosh! It's been since the holidays, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been since the holidays. So happy holidays, Happy New Year. How was your holidays, ladies?
Pretty cool. I went to the I get this. Okay. The National Museum of African American History and Culture.
You were in DC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was spectacular. Now, here's why. I mean, it was spectacular. Let me just say that. It was spectacular. But here's what made the trip interesting. Two things. First thing is that was one of the things we did during New Year's. New Year's last, we were in Memphis and went to the Civil Rights Museum where the Lorraine Hotel and all of that. So, I had made this observation that 2024 is bookend by a lot of African American culture. But the other part of going to the National Museum is my dad's childhood friend, gentleman we call Uncle Jock. Uncle Jock has a massive, he has probably the largest sports memorabilia collection in the world. Unfortunately, Uncle Jock is no longer with us, so my cousin Janae is the owner of the collection, and she loaned, let me say this correctly, she loaned several pieces from the collection to the museum. So once we got to the sports memorabilia, I literally just ran around reading all the placards, looking for his name and taking pictures of all the stuff that was there in his name because that was so cool.
That is awesome.
It was great. I think it was different in a sense that on the lower level of the museum is where they start with that road from, folks being taken from Africa and brought to the States and that whole story of slavery. And, you wander through the museum and you work your way up to the top. And as you get to the top of the museum, that's where they have, say, the more modern pop culture things. So I didn't pull it up. I should have pulled it up, but they have pictures of Halle Berry and Denzel Washington the year they won the Oscars, and the actual Oscars are in the museum. So that was pretty
Oh,
cool.
that is
So,
dope.
yeah. So I made
Oh,
it a
that's
point of taking the
awesome.
picture because
We're big
Halle
Halle
Berry.
Berry fans, and Denzel, since I
Yeah.
tried to run him over.
Yeah. So, but I'll share those the next time. I don't know why I didn't think to pull them up, but yeah,
Okay,
that was
so
pretty cool. And I think that was some of the really really fun stuff too. Was all the pop culture stuff. So many people donated things. Like if you are a funk fan, the mothership from P Funk, Parliament Funkadelic, this giant weird chip actually used in concerts where he would come out of the yeah. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, that was the biggest thing I did during the new year.
funny story. Speaking of Denzel and that whole situation, the guy that I was with that day hit me up over the holidays out of nowhere. I haven't spoken to this man in 30 years
Okay.
easily. And he found me on Facebook and sent me a message and was like, apparently he's been married twice and is recently divorced.
There we go.
And I'm like,
There we go.
and he's like, oh, I've been following your career. And I'm like, because this is long before I hadn't even had my son when this happened. My daughter was, like 2. So yeah, that was interesting. So it's so funny that you brought up Denzel Washington, and yeah. He was like, remember that day when we were in Malibu Beach? And I'm like, yeah, Malibu that's underwater now. Because California is getting hit with all these huge tsunamis.
That's
Is
terrible.
that related to that? Wasn't that recently in the news too?
The earthquake 7.5.
Yeah.
I think so.
Hmm.
I mean,
Why not? Why wouldn't it be? I mean, we just had a torrential downpour all up and down the East Coast.
Right? And we're getting all this snow.
Me?
So we're getting like 30 centimeters of snow. So we got hit with the storms. Yeah.
It's funny because yesterday when I went to work, I got to work, it was like almost 7 in the morning. It was black as night, raining cats and dogs, like sheets of water running down the road. It was dark when I got to work, and as the morning got later, it got light for a hot second, and then it got dark all over again, and it just rained buckets and buckets for hours nonstop. And eventually it slowed and then stopped. And I'm talking to my son. My son lives in Central Florida. Talking to him that afternoon, he's like, yeah, the rain's about to come in. I'm like, what are you talking about? The rain came through this morning. He's like, no, we're getting it now. And then,
oh no,
Kari, you and Lorenzo are in the same part of the country. And, he's busy talking about, with the rain and the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, why are you just now getting the rain? I had the rain earlier today. The weirdest weather day yesterday, because after I had the rain and the rain disappeared and it was all good, in the middle of the night, I had crazy, crazy wind. Like wind strong enough to knock trees down. So when I woke up this morning, there were trees down all over the neighborhood.
Yeah. I woke up to a foot of water in my basement.
That's not cool.
No.
That's not cool.
It was the sump pump. The sump pump stopped working. So, and luckily, I had a box fan going because I like to keep the air circulated. And my basement has no windows. It's literally all underground. So I keep a fan blowing at all times just to keep the air circulated. Because even when there's no like air circulating, it'll rise, and then whatever like smell or sometimes it gets hot, sometimes it's cold, that'll come up into the first floor. So I keep a fan going. That's what alerted him that something was wrong, because the water had risen to the fan, and the fan was like is making all these noises because it's like literally like it's picking up water and like slinging it and it's
Wow.
making these noises. So he went to go check and he's like, Kari, come down right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody broke in. Like, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh my God. But then he's like, nah, go down. I was like, oh, I came down there
Put
and
your waders on. Oh.
I just went down there in my slippers, but the water was freezing cold.
Had to be.
Because I was hurt. I was trying to go and plug the sump pump in just to make sure that, yeah. So that was my tragic morning. What about you, Desiree? How are your holidays?
Not bad. Not bad. Just spent it with family. It was good. It was quiet. It was
my
nice.
kids. Yeah. My kids came and visited. They weren't gonna come. They were gonna come, then they weren't gonna come, and then they decided to come and surprise me, and it was very uneventful. Like I didn't buy any gifts. I didn't cook. Like we just really hung out, watched movies. I got to hang out with the kids. Like it was nice. Oh, I went and saw Christmas lights at the zoo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, at Druid Hill Park, actually.
Did they like your ornaments?
So no, because I didn't even pull them out, and
Get
I didn't pull out
Kari.
I didn't even pull out the tree. When I tell you,
but still, you could have pulled out those cute little ornaments and just put them around.
But then it defeats the purpose of the game. Now they'll have them for this year.
Oh, the game. Oh, that's right. You did say there was sort of a game.
Yeah, we're gonna do a game where it's like, let's see which ones are new. So
okay, all right. That's
fair enough. Yep.
Yeah. So
agreed.
Well, we have some TV to talk about and some movies. Yes. So, shall we start with our first favorite? Which I'm going to say this, I was really upset Friday that there was not an episode.
Okay, good. Thank you for saying that, because over the weekend, I went to get caught up because I knew I had missed some. And I'm like, why is there only one? Why is there only one? Did I mess this up? Did I lose a whole week of time? And there's only one show.
There was no episode Friday.
Okay, good. Thank you for saying that.
Okay, so for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, we are speaking of Raising Kanan on the Stars Network. We are huge Power fans.
Huge.
Yes.
And right now, the Raising Kanan series is what we've been watching. And can we just give a moment of silence? Are you caught up, Desiree?
No, I'm not, but it's okay. You guys can talk about it.
Okay.
It's okay.
We're giving
I'm catching up with the comments on X because we got some comments there.
Okay.
Okay. If you guys are Raising Kanan fans, let's get an emoji of raising your hand. We want to see our other fellow Raising Kanan fans and family and friends, because right now we're going to take a moment of silence for Unique.
AKA Neek.
Oh.
Neek. And he died tragically. Like, oh.
Yeah. So he was the one who was fucking around with Rock, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And he's played by Joey Badass, the rapper.
Okay, so the cat's out the bag. Neek bites it, but we won't let out who the cat is. That bites him.
Okay. Okay.
Let's just say
I see what you did. I see what you did there.
Yeah, let's just say damn. I'm gonna miss not seeing you. I liked him. I don't know why. I did not like him before.
Right.
Before, when him and Rock were beefing, I did not like him. But when he came to save Rock,
yeah, and so because you know what I think, Kari, he's still the same dick dude from before, but I think once he and Rock started having this relationship, you got to see the suave, smooth player that, you know, like his little soft side, just a little bit, just a little soft side.
Yeah.
Not so much to make him a punk, but just enough to go, oh, okay, all right.
I don't think he's a punk. I think
Yeah, I'm not.
I think he always had the hots for Rock.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying that he's a punk. I'm saying it was just enough softness to be like, okay, I can leave my door open for him in the middle of the night. I could do that.
I think even when they were fighting, I think that there was not so much on Rock's part. I don't think she really,
Was digging on him.
even when he said to her when he sat at the table and he was like, I think you know, you might even like me a little bit. I don't even think then. I think she just looked at him when he
Mm-hmm.
came to save her. That was the moment that she was like, all right, I could fuck with him. I see him as more than just the op. And she knew that because remember they worked together also.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because remember he was the one that connected her with the Italians. So yeah, I was very upset. Now the stuff that's happening with Kanan,
It's interesting.
I think Kanan's the one that kills Rock.
It's interesting because
What?
yeah,
I'm
I
beginning
can
to
buy into
see.
that, and I'm gonna tell you why I can buy into that because
Mm.
this season you are seeing him not just rebel against Rock, you are seeing him full on claim his independence from her. You know, he especially in light of the fact that old girl set him up so that he would be forced to have to come back to her house. And dude, even though there are significant consequences for him not following the rules that have been set, he's still out there running his shit, doing his thing, and consequences be damned. Um, I mean, he is the you're I felt like after that episode, Carrie, and tell me what you think. I felt like this was the clear line of him developing into the adult Kanan that we see. Like this is where you see that is really starting to surface and manifest.
I think what we've just witnessed, I think this last episode, we witnessed where Kanan doesn't trust anyone. And now we're starting to
True.
see, because you know, we know after watching Power that he's the one that killed Jukebox. Kanan has become calculated. She turned him cold. And it started when
Mm.
she had him go shoot his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, all of the other things that have happened have just made Kanan, he just doesn't give a fuck.
Ruthless. Just
Yeah, he just
ruthless.
does not have any faith in humanity. He does not have any faith in relationships. He does not give a shit. And that's when the whole situation went down, seeing the length that she went to get him back in the house to try to, you know, reestablish a relationship with him.
Hmm.
That was when I looked and I said, you know what? He's going to find out that she planted the gun
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to snap.
Because he already, you know, going from the earlier episode this season with him and his uncle, he already, I mean, not just all of a sudden in his feelings. She does something every time that puts him further and further into his feelings.
But to even go further with your point, he becomes Rock.
Yeah. But
Because
better. Even
everything
more
Rock does
hardcore.
is to benefit herself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what
Mm-hmm.
Kanan starts doing. So like now that we're looking, there's a parallel there. And the
Yeah.
parallel is that Kanan has become Rock.
Yeah.
And eventually
Yeah,
you can't have
that's
two
true.
Rocks. You
Well,
just can't have two people like that.
and
So
that's where I go back to. I feel like
You're gonna
this
be
is that episode where it is abundantly clear, dude. It like this teenage version of him is the beginning of the adult version of him. The where you can clearly see he has fully matured into fuck her and fuck everybody else too. You know, because there was think about it. There was a point in time where when Neek's crazy brother would have rolled up on him and had him a little shook. Neek's brother rolled up on him. He's like, "The fuck is wrong with you? Get out of here! I ain't fucking with you." Like, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't even phased by this crazy dude
at all. Not even in the slightest.
Nope. Mm-mm. No.
Not even in the slightest. So
yeah. So
and
it's good. It's very, very good. I'm telling. This is going to sound really crazy, right? But I'm gonna say this because I think it demonstrates what the point I'm trying to make. So, like when Law and Order came out, each series like pulled you in. You became addicted. If you were addicted to one, you were watching all of them. And I think Power has had that same sort of effect, where if you watched one, you just seem to get sucked into watching them all. They are well written, well acted, well produced. And to the extent where I feel like you don't have to, like, if you did not start watching these from Power, it doesn't even matter, because each show has enough of its own independent storyline that the connection to the others is irrelevant. You don't have to have, you didn't have to start with Power to be watching Raising Kanan, or to watch any of them, really.
Any of them, right? Yeah.
Not
only that, but I feel like also the thing that I really like about the Power series is they aren't forcing. The one thing that I don't care about with SVU, I love Law and Order SVU. Don't get it twisted for a second. Like, that's my jam. Like, we love Olivia Benson, even though she's a hoe. But I don't like when TV shows try to enforce the things that are happening today down your throat. Like, there was a time when all these shows were doing the whole LGBTQ, like trying to force that down people's throats.
But that is what Law and Order bases their whole premise on, is they run stories based on stuff that really happens.
Right, but the stories, yes, those I can get. But sometimes they try to go OD with the whole, like, remember when they were doing the whole thing with Ice-T's character, and they were like, because the son was gay, and they were trying to like when they try to OD that's the part for me where I lose connection. Luckily with Law and Order, because I'm married to the cast, they're family to me. So hey Zany, I know Zany's happy to see us back. I continue to watch because, and I don't think that Law and Order went too deep with it, but there's some, I can't think of the shows right off the bat, but there are some shows that just, like, we see enough of this on social media, we see enough of this on the news, and it's like, when I'm watching TV to disconnect and live in a different reality. And when I'm watching Raising Kanan for an hour, I am mentally not thinking about anything else but Raising Kanan. And that's what I need. I need to be in a world where I can submerge into the story. And it's the thing that also makes Power so awesome, the Power series, is that they don't make these situations too far-fetched from reality. So it's not really fantasy. These could be real life situations. Like, and that's the other thing. Like,
oh no, it is real life. That is real.
I know. Right. But I'm saying, like, with Empire. Empire was far-fetched.
Oh no, that was fantasy. That was Hollywood.
Hollywood all day.
That was straight up Hollywood. No. And that's
Oprah
not to say that
her money.
That's not to say that, that some drug dealer doesn't take their money and start a record company and get hugely successful. No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying is the way they did that show, that was all Hollywood. Power, on the other hand, that is real life storytelling. Like this, even though these characters are characters, that is real live Jamaica Queens. That is real shit. Like, if you look at the historical, of that area in that time and what went down, that's some real shit. They're just building a story around what really took place in that location.
Look at the Supreme.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my whole point. Because that is literally the part of Jamaica that, now granted, I had moved out before it got to that level, but that is the part of Jamaica that I lived in. Like when they talk about Baisley, there was a park that was built that my great grandfather used to do security for. And I'd be at that park while it was under construction playing. Like that is where I came from. So yeah, no, that's some real shit right there.
Well, for me, what I'm saying is that like Empire, they were very much into the whole trying to like
entertain,
but entertain with the whole like LGBTQ thing, which I understand. You want to include things that, you know, you want to make people more open and aware, and that's great. But like, I feel like sometimes, like, I'm not even going to talk about what I feel like. What I'm going to say is that Power, it takes me away from like, it's real, but it's still entertaining.
Yes. But
like,
but again, too,
the likeliness that you're going to run into somebody who's had an experience like Power is far greater than you are
well,
someone
because
who
remember
became Empire.
the time period. The time period is completely different than now. Like Empire was more of a today time period, whereas the whole Power book, Kanan, rather more specifically, Kanan is a different time period altogether. Because think about it, when they're talking about Jukebox, they keep her sexuality on the down low. Everybody's aware of it, but we're not specifically talking about it, but everybody's aware of it. And, you know, that last episode, you see her dad try to play into it. But at first, dude wasn't really trying to acknowledge that.
But look what happened with her mother.
Right. Right.
And these are, but you think about the times, and you think about that time in life, that would have been very likely what happened. So I just love Power.
Yes, it was. That's what I'm saying. It is appropriate to the time that these things occurred. So anyway, we've only spent like 16 minutes talking about.
That's how much we love Raising Kanan. Shall we move on to something else? I would like to share something I saw.
Oh, I thought that was you sharing.
Oh, go ahead, Casey. Tell us what you've been watching.
Okay, so
she said, "I thought that was you sharing." Look how you hijacked.
No, you're the one who threw out the Raising Kanan. I didn't even get to say that. I just jumped on it. Okay, so I watched, for whatever reason, I was obsessed with comedy specials this weekend. So I watched a lot of comedy specials, and I watched 2 hugely successful comedians who had 2 completely different comedy sets, and I'm still trying to process one of them. So I watched Dreamers. No, not that one. I'm good with that one. I'm good with Dreamers. And I was going to say, I watched Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle is such a different kind of comic in terms of he likes to tell stories, and he gets you all pulled into the story, and then at some point there's a punchline in the story and you're like, okay, wait, what? Okay. But at the same time, he also likes to be dangerous, and so like he literally opens this show with all these things that are, you know, comments that are sort of cancel culture triggers,
controversial.
Yes. Okay. And so it was interesting that he just literally jumped right out and said all these things that were things that had in the past, recent past, mind you, were getting him in trouble. And I love the fact that he's like, fuck y'all, these are my jokes, and if you don't like it, fuck you. Right. So like, I thought that was really very interesting. He didn't try to backpedal. He didn't try to apologize for the jokes. Because quite frankly, people are a little too hypersensitive. Jokes are jokes. We've been telling these kinds of jokes for decades, millenniums, I don't know. And the fact that people can, in my opinion, bully these comedians into not telling their jokes is really, really very, very interesting, right? So you've got Dave Chappelle, who tells these transgender jokes, and then in an effort to prove a point, he starts telling jokes about other people, and I forget who the other, like, handicapped people or whatever it was, and I'm like,
Yeah, paraplegic,
right. I'm
handicap.
like, so here you go, making him just pull out some other type of minority to tell jokes about. That he's absolutely brilliant. What threw me is I then watched Pete Davidson, and the first 15 minutes of his show, I'm like, what the fuck? He talks about his mom, his single mom, and he made the comment about how his mom is so single that, you know, he thought that he was going to have to be her boyfriend and that he was going to have to fuck her. And he talked about that, and I'm like,
What?
sorry.
Yeah.
What? Like, he spent a whole good 10 minutes telling this incestuous joke about him and his mom and how single his mom is, and all of these, and I'm just like, I literally sat there going, am I hearing this straight? Like, why is he still telling a joke about having to be his mom's boyfriend and I might have to fuck her? And Dave Chappelle is trashed for telling a trans joke. Okay.
And still funny about it. And
yes.
the thing about it is, Dave Chappelle may say things that other people find inappropriate, but it's still funny.
It's still fun. Okay, wait. And the other thing about Pete Davidson, he opened his show by saying he was 30 years old. I'm like, that's a lie. It's a bald-faced lie. Dude can't only be 30. Apparently, he really is only 30. He was born in 1993. And I'm like, why do I feel like he's been out 20 years and not 10 years? Like, it's like okay. That blew my mind. Blew my mind that he was only 30. Really did. Yeah. But
what you got
anyway.
first, Desiree?
Okay. I watched Rebel Moon, the first episode. Yeah, that was on Netflix too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really good show. It's about people in the galaxy and the mother worlds and some ships and stuff. I didn't get to see. I just seen the first episode. I'm not sure if there's just the one episode that's out.
Is there the second? So it's not so much that it's episodes. There's like a part 1 and a part 2, and the part 2 didn't come out. I watched it too, and I talked Lorenzo into watching it. I'm trying to think. There was something I compared it to, and I can't remember what that was.
I was gonna say Star Wars, kind of like Star Wars-ish.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a lot of things because you know, it's okay. So from the Star Wars perspective, you do have like these stormtrooper looking characters. You do have these layer of officers, lieutenants, whatever you want to call it. So from that perspective, yeah, it's a little Star Wars-ish. It's also a little Guardian of the Galaxy because you've got this ragtag collection of people trying to defend and save the world, so to speak.
Yeah, and there's like bounties, like people are getting caught, like ransom, kind of like things like that as well. Yeah, it's really neat.
And I think one of the things that I liked, and I'm still trying to decide just how much I liked it or didn't like it. I don't know. But one of the things that did, however, grab my attention is there are some scenes with the main characters, this female. There are some scenes that are just visually very, very pretty. And I had said to Lorenzo that some of that reminded me of the movie Dune. If you saw the most recent Dune, it's some of that visual. It's like, you know, they sort of over exaggerate some of the background scenes. And so like there was this evening where she's out in the field and the sky is huge and the moon is huge and it's pretty, and at the same time I'm like, really? Like, why don't we just full on make it a cartoon? Like, what is the over exaggeration of it? But it was pretty at the same time, so I'm like, I guess it worked because I thought it was pretty. But yeah, it was interesting. It's like, I don't know, I'm torn because I feel like it wasn't great, but I watched it and I told other people to watch it. So I guess it
So
was good.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You're
I
like,
thought it
God,
was good. I enjoyed the story too. Like I thought the story kind of grabbed me into like seeing them being, put on another planet, and then her being from like
mm,
her telling her backstory, like everything
yeah.
with her going on, and it was kind of insane how the person found her, and then she was like from royalty, and then they like took her in and this and that, and she was like a trained like assassin before all this stuff going on, and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And and it's funny too, Des,
So
because with her story, once she started sharing her story, I said to myself, oh, she about to get caught. You telling way too much of your
right.
business. You've had your business
Mm-hmm.
on the DL for a very long time. Now all of a sudden you're going to start talking about all your shit. They are going to find you. It is inevitable they're going to find you.
She spilled the tea.
She
Yeah.
spilled all the tea. All the tea.
Yep.
And yes, they
Yep.
found her.
It's
but
true.
but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was definitely very interesting. Um the story that they tell, but I swear to you, it's Guardian of the Galaxies, it's Star Wars, it's all of those things. So if you're into any of those,
Check
watch.
it out. Mm-hmm.
So I watched John Wick 4.
Ooh.
It is really good. I I like the John Wick series, but there's a couple of them, or one of them that's like really confusing. I think it was 3, maybe 2. I don't know. One of those was really confusing. So I was like not really trying to watch John Wick 4. I was like, I just don't understand some of this storyline that just seems like flippity floppity, like weird. So I was like reluctant, but Ghost was like, let's watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did. And much to my surprise, it was a very easy storyline to follow.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of action. Almost the entire movie is action packed.
I think
Almost to the point I felt tired for him.
well, I was gonna say, okay, so that now that you said that, the absolute epitome of what you just said about feeling tired for him was him trying to get up those stairs. Like that is
Yes.
I watched it for the first time on a flight. I want to say I think I was going to the west side. And when they got to that scene, I was like, "Oh my god, get up the stairs already."
What about when he gets all the way to the top and the dude kicks him and he goes right back down to the bottom? It was like
Oh.
the feeling of defeat.
Yes.
Just,
And
hey, what's up, goddess? Toxic
and
toxic
it was
goddess.
what was crazy about that is when he hit the bottom, he was you could it was like
But the way they played the ending, though,
mm, mhm. Mhm.
can't tell you what it is, but
Mm-mm.
let's just say
Good stuff.
they did it. They did the
Good
damn thing, and I
good
was like,
yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, John Wick
good
4
stuff.
is
So
that's
is there
good.
gonna be a John Wick 5?
The way they told that
Could be.
story, there could be.
Oh.
There could be. Because they've got that one
Mhm.
dude, the dude with the dog, don't even know exactly who he is. Don't
I
know who.
liked him. He
Mm-hmm.
was so cool. He was like, he kept protecting John, but he was like, if they make that bounty high enough,
High enough.
I'm
I'm
coming
in.
for you.
Mm.
I'm in.
And he was
Because
like, so they kept raising it, and he was like,
not
nah,
yet.
not yet.
Not yet. I don't get out of bed for that. Don't. Mm-mm. But at the same time, dude stayed nearby. He stayed very close, just in case. Just in
And
case.
then what about the dog?
Oh,
Balls.
okay. So wait, can we just talk about? I all through that movie, I kept thinking with that dog, I'm like, is he somehow related to Holly Berry's character because his dog and her dogs
Her dog,
have
yes.
similarly trained.
The only
Very
difference was
similarly.
that she spoke Arabic to her dogs.
Yep, but the training is very, very similar.
Maybe
Very
they're
similar.
connected.
Very similar.
Maybe that's
And
why he protected her.
well,
Protected him.
and you know, again, what's fascinating is this is a dude who is in excuse me, he's in the whole movie, and yet we don't really know why. Don't really know why. Like, what are you here for? He knows everything about John Wick, is fully aware of the fact that people are after him, and yet, what are you here for, dude? So, yeah, it was good. Here's the thing. I think Keanu Reeves, he's not necessarily a super fantastic actor, but when you talk about somebody who lucked up in their acting career, he's one of those people who has lucked up in their acting career. I mean, Matrix, dude, like the money off that he's made off of Matrix, the money he's made off of John Wick. He's done some movies that if that's all he's ever done in life, his kids, his grandkids, they're pretty much set.
And the cool thing about him is he's mega down to earth and super frugal. He's not like one of those, I need to be in a $50 million mansion and shit like that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Off topic, but I did watch something kind of interesting. So there's this podcast on YouTube called The Diary of a CEO. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
Mm-mm.
No,
But
we'll check it out.
he interviewed Jada Pinkett Smith.
Ooh.
It was a very interesting interview. And there were some things that she said that just kind of like, I've been on this whole like, Jada, you're trying to blow up your whole, like, you know what I mean? Like some of the things that she said that we've all talked about it. Like,
Right.
like Jada, stop, okay? Before they come and commit you. Okay. Like that's where I've been. So when I watched the interview, I don't know, it just kind of made me take a couple of steps back and be like, I don't know. I don't know if it humanized her or I don't know what it did, but it just kind of made me a little bit more compassionate about her. So just saying that I saw that and, you know,
Okay.
Jada needs help.
Okay. There you go.
Prayer
So,
emojis.
yes. Go ahead, Casey. What's next for you?
Okay. So Max, HBO Max, whatever they call themselves now, they have been running these legal series, like various stories from the news. Might be 1, 2, 3 episodes about various things. One of the ones I had watched was Megan Thee Stallion versus, and I forget his name.
Tory Lanez.
Thank you, Tory Lanez.
Okay.
But I watched one this weekend called Gwyneth versus Terry, the ski crash trial. Gwyneth Paltrow versus some regular ordinary dude, and the story is about Gwyneth Paltrow and this guy Terry, and I forget Terry's last name, on a ski slope, and they crash into each other. And the story is, or the trial is about who crashed into who, because Terry says that he suffered a brain injury that has caused him to be completely different than he was prior to colliding with Gwyneth. And the argument was, so it's kind of like driving a car. Whoever is in the back is responsible for whatever happens. So in other words, if I'm skiing along and Kari cuts in front of me and I crash into Kari, even though Kari cut in front of me, I'm responsible for whatever happens. Like if I was driving a car and Kari cut in front of me in the car, I'm responsible. So whoever's in the back, or in skiing, whoever's uphill is responsible for what happens in the down.
Because according to the law,
Yes.
You still have the option to stop.
Right. Because you are supposed to be aware of what's going on around you at all times, right?
Even though if we look at the scientific factual information,
Hard to stop.
it's called
Right?
inertia.
Yeah.
It's
It's hard to
called
stop.
True.
gravity.
Hard to stop.
It's called there's no fucking way I'm gonna know to stop
So
because you're like a pew. I'm gonna know because you fucking are in front of me.
yeah. So
Right?
here's the situation. The two of them are going down the ski slope. They collide into each other. Terry falls and injures. He like broke some ribs in his back. He's got a brain injury, whatever, right? That is the basics of what happened.
He finds out it's Gwyneth, and Gwyneth has money.
Okay.
Hmm.
But here's the situation. Yes, he later finds out that he crashed into Gwyneth. But when you watch it, and I think it was only 1 hour, apparently this trial went viral in the news. It was talked about everywhere, all over the globe, about this particular incident. And long story short, Gwyneth, her legal team specialized in like malpractice, or I think there was malpractice. And their argument was, because this dude had a eyewitness who said that he saw Gwyneth crash into this guy. He claims initially that the ski instructor that Gwyneth had told him that Gwyneth ran into his friend. And so that was his side of the story. Gwyneth's side of the story was different in the sense that um she was able to hire some people who were able to create a digital reenactment of what happened based on the things that people said. So like Gwyneth tells this story about seeing his skis pop through the between her skis and feeling him on her back and hearing him even before she initially felt him when he made contact. And based on the things that Gwyneth said, based on what the Terry said, and based on his injuries, this graphic reenactment showed that he ran into her, and that when they finally fell to the ground, based on how they fell, she
Oh.
appeared to have fallen on him because they fell towards the side. And so it would have looked like she was more on top of him than he was on top of her. Because in our brain, if he was behind her, he should have landed on top of her. But based on how they fell to the side. So
Okay.
it was interesting because after this reenactment, the jury came back and was like, yeah, no, Gwyneth didn't run into him and she doesn't owe him anything and blah, blah, blah. And what I found fascinating is they tried to say because she's Gwyneth Paltrow and had money, she was able to pay to have this reenactment done. And they used things against the this Terry dude, used his words against him, enabled which it was an which is what made it possible for the jury to say that she was not guilty. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, that's how it goes in court. Sorry. But what was interesting is, Gwyneth is perceived as being, sort of goofy and sort of kind of not connected to reality in a sense of her wealth and her goop lifestyle or whatever. And, some of the things that she said about breaking up with her baby daddy, whatever. But what was interesting is she was really like, if you didn't know she was Gwyneth Paltrow, she was just this woman being sued for running into a dude on the ski slope. Like, she did not look Gwyneth Paltrow, super Hollywood rich. They put her on the stand at one point and they asked her to read something. She was like, I'm gonna need my glasses. Can you get my glasses? Like, I'm like, oh, she's so ordinary. Like, she really came off very, very ordinary, very regular. And when the court case was over, the lawyer asked, "Can you let the plaintiff and the defendant leave first before you let everybody leave?" So the judge was like, "Yeah, sure, fine." So Gwyneth got up. She started to walk away. She walked over to the guy, Terry, and whispered in his ear, and then walked out. And so they later asked, what did she say to him? And he said that she wished him the best and was so sorry that he had been injured. I'm like, wow, that was interesting.
Here's the thing. In my opinion, we all know that skiing is an extremely dangerous sport.
Mm-hmm.
You can run out into busy traffic and have a better chance of living than going skiing. That's why I don't go skiing. So in my opinion, I feel like anytime you do go skiing, you're going at your own risk. Whether you get chased by a bear, run into a tree, Sonny Bono. Like, is it like, do you sue the tree or do you sue the resort, or
Yeah.
who do you sue when someone dies and runs into a tree? You know what I
What do you
mean?
call
Like,
it?
I feel
Liam
like
Neeson's wife. She died from an
Natalie,
injury. From an injury
Natalia,
skiing.
yeah.
Yeah, but do they normally make you sign like a waiver or anything when you do that?
No, because
No?
you can just go to
Yes?
any mountain and go skiing. It's not.
Liability?
I don't think so.
Nothing?
I don't know. I've never been skiing. I have wanted to go. I mean, they probably, based on like learning about this whole downhill uphill thing, they probably go out of their way to give instructions and make sure you know what the ski etiquette is or whatever. But it's not like you need a license to go skiing.
I don't want to go skiing. I just want to go on the little people mover thing and just watch.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So
I'm
I
good.
had that same. I say the same thing, like because I have a girlfriend who's a cigar smoker and she goes skiing, but when I see her post from skiing, I'm like, no, you call me when you're back from skiing, and I'll meet you for the cigar smoking and the hot tub. I'll meet you for that part.
Wait, I do want to put on the stuff just to kind of look sporty, but I don't actually want to.
Yeah, right.
I
That's what
don't
I'm
actually
saying.
want to ski. Like, I'll
I'll
just do
meet you
the,
when
the
you're
little
done.
moves. Yeah, like I'll be up there with the skis and the whole ski suit and all that, and I'll just take some pictures or whatever. But aside from that, to actually ski, it would be like a little hill. Like,
Bunny
okay,
slope.
I'm good.
Bunny slope. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's bunny slope. Like a man-made. Like, where do I land? Like, I need to know. I'm not trying to take no chances because I've seen a lot of stuff where, like, one, the guy had the GoPro somewhere on his person or on his backpack or whatever. He was literally being chased by a bear. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm not trying to wake up Yogi.
Wow.
Whitney, hey. Yeah, bunny slope is good. All right, Desiree, finish us up with a quickie.
I got to watch Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
We'll save that for next week.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Jason Momoa.
Although I don't know what's up with him lately. He's been very fruitylicious.
And I love every second of it.
That's a word.
Love
it. It was a great movie
I do too.
Go out and see it. Go out and see it.
You know, it's funny you say you watched Aquaman because again, I watched a ton of things this weekend, and I did watch Aquaman, and I watched Justice League just so I could watch him in Justice League.
Child. I feel like it should be illegal to be that sexy.
Oh my god. It's just not right. It's not right.
What the fuck, Lisa? I need to know her story. Stop being private. Share some details because I need to know. Like,
it's not right. And here's what I want to know: like, on what farm do we grow Jason Momoa's? Like, I feel like that was planted in a pot and it's sprinkled with some water and fertilizer and poof.
Which
Jason
version
Momoa.
would you like? Oh my gosh!
Because I want to grow some more of those. And to be perfectly honest, I just want to sit there and watch him do stuff. Just do stuff.
Toilet needs to be cleaned.
Handle it, Roy. Do it. Do it.
Yes.
I genuinely just enjoy watching him. You know,
I do too. I follow him on TikTok just because now that he has a TikTok, and I follow him on Instagram just because he just.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna have to do that because I follow Holly Berry on IG just to watch her do her bougie stuff with her girlfriend. Like to see her do normal, like to be drunk and to have their little conversations. Because I'm like,
Aw.
so not what you're thinking of when you're thinking Holly Berry.
Halle Berry, yep. But they're normal people just like we are.
Yes,
You know what I
just
mean?
with money.
Well,
Yeah.
with that comes
Mm.
problems. Let's talk about Taraji P. Henson.
Well, problems only happen if you let problems happen. I mean, everybody has problems. Everybody. We don't avoid problems because we have money.
True.
Look at
No.
44. Or was he 45? Look at 45. 45 is a problem because he got money.
Who's 45?
The man who shall remain nameless with the orange comb over.
Oh, why are we calling him 45?
Because he was the 45th president.
Oh. I was like, shouldn't we be calling him like 91 or something? 92? On that note, we'll finish out this episode. We want to say thank you. Welcome back to YouTube. We're so happy to see some of our amazing familiar faces and names in our chat. Toxic Goddess, Zany, Whitney, Christopher Garaldi, and of course Jason. It's real. It feels good to be back on YouTube. I felt like we were talking to the void because Twitter's a whole different. The X thing is a whole different.
Yeah, we got some people on X too. Dr. Dunk, and then hold on a sec.
Dr.
Let me see if I can
Dunk.
scroll. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got some people spamming numbers. Mr. Daryl Kaboom, Miss
Yes,
Toxic
Daryl
Goddess.
Kaboom.
What's up,
Hey,
Daryl? Hey, Mr.
what's
Kaboom.
up?
Yeah.
On that note, you can go to Exotica Expo. That's Exotica with 3x's.com. We are going to be in Chicago, Illinois, April 12th to the 14th, 2024.
Hotel is
So
open.
book
Get you some.
Book your hotel rooms, schedule your flights, and prepare. Oh, and don't forget to get your tickets. Yeah, don't forget your tickets. It's going to be a blast. 2024 Exoticas are going to exceed. We're gonna have a good time.
So, Chicago, as you saw, is April 12th through the 14th. Miami is June 28th through the 30th, and that is my birthday month. So we about to party in Miami for my birthday.
My birthday's February 1st.
It's my birthday.
I'm in a couple
right around the corner. And Desi, your birthday is
The
February
8th
6th.
of
There we go.
February.
There we go.
Yep.
And
I
in
knew
New
she was
Jersey is October 25th through 27th. So come on through with your Halloween costume and all of that jazz. And then DC again, woo woo, will be
like the
December 6th through the 8th. Did I say New Jersey?
Yeah.
October 25th through 27th. Miami,
Yes.
June 28th through 30th. And Chicago, April 12th through the 14th.
Yeah.
All of that.
And you can follow us on social media.
Hold on, let me get there. Let me get to the pink.
Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Hold on.
Ring the
Activate.
bell.
There she is.
Nobody puts Desi in a corner.
No. We do put her in a pink box, though. We do put her in a pink box.
We will put
I
you
was
in a
a
pink
bad
box.
girl.
You can follow us on social media, check out our websites, and make sure you hashtag BOOBTUBE BoobTube to let us know that you saw us on EXXXOTICA.tv. We will see you next week, same time, same bat channel. Woo, woo. And make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to this YouTube channel and comment down below. If you're on Twitter, comment on this post. We will see you guys next week. Mwah. Back to you,
Bye.
Casey.
Bye.
Yeah.